Welcome back, everybody, to WTL. That stands for Where's the Line? Nebraska's first and only sports betting show. I'm your host, Ian D. Class, and joined by
Jabron.
Oh, the Parlay Pounder.
You got it.
And we're going to stay in the college ranks here, aren't we? We got to stay with some CFB, some NCAA football.
Yeah.
Let's start with the Big Ten.
Some big scoring games.
A big scoring game here.
Yeah.
Oh, boy. We got the 5-5 Fighting Illini heading on over to Iowa City. Take on the Iowa Hawkeyes at Kinnick Stadium. Yes, it's a very, very low total at 30.5, but the Hawkeyes are a 3-point favorite.
Yeah. I mean, way to look at this one, I guess, is that Illinois, the Illini are finding ways to win games lately, which is pretty surprising, but they don't do anything particularly special, kind of just like every other team in the Big Ten West. They're 93rd in scoring offense, Andy, the Illini are, and it's just not ideal when coming up against an Iowa defense that's 8th in total defense and 3rd in scoring defense in the nation.
Yeah, just pulled this up. Ben Stevens, he's a good follow on Twitter. Iowa is the only team in the Big Ten West that has less than 5 overall losses, less than 4 conference losses, a positive point differential, it's sitting at .17 in conference play, and has reached bowl eligibility. They are 5-2 in the conference, and they're 8-2 overall. For everything that we say about the Hawkeyes, they pull it off. They somehow win.
They are.
It's just that, can they really cover a 3-point spread when, I mean, we've seen some doozies this year.
Some real doozies. One that, sticks out in your mind is, obviously the game they lost against Minnesota, fair catch or not, they still lost. And then, like we were saying before we got on here, Andy, the Rutgers game last week in Iowa was just ugly. You can't get a more ugly game. And then, what people say back to me is, well, did you watch Maryland, Nebraska? I did. At least people could score in that game. It's just, I don't know which way to lean here, but if I had to pick a way, Andy, I do believe that Illinois is only going to lose this game by 3 points. So I would probably hop on Illinois, maybe buy a half a point and go with the 3.5. But I do like Illinois to keep this game close just because Iowa can't score.
It's been bet down. This line opened up at 4.5. It's been bet down to 3. I think that if you could have got in on that early line there, around Monday or Tuesday, that might have been the safer play if you wanted to get in on Illinois.
For sure.
And that's why the books have reacted the way they have here. Yeah. Boy, that's really slim, and it just feels like, Iowa by a field goal, right?
It just has to be.
And both teams are going to be satisfied with that as far as that style of play, that type of scoring, which brings me to that over-under at 30.5. Oh, my God.
I mean, they keep going lower each week, and they keep going under. Each of Iowa's last 5 games against non-AP ranked teams have gone under the total points, and these lines have been 32, 33, 29, all of it low. So I do believe this is going under, Andy. I believe it's going under. I just don't believe either one of these offenses can put up 15 points.
Yeah, I mean, you're just thinking like 14-12 type of a game.
I'm thinking 10-7 here. 10-7 Iowa. Could be 7-4. Could be 7-4.
Illinois passes the ball just enough. They're average over 200 yards per game. That's more than doubles what Iowa does through the air.
No doubt.
So their offense can turn it on, but I just don't think they will turn it on against Iowa.
Not against this defense.
Yeah, not very many teams have.
Not a lot of teams have. Like you said, the guy has over 1,800 yards passing, 13 touchdowns, but he also has 10 interceptions, and I would have to guess the Hawkeyes are going to get another one against him. So I believe that this is just a low-scoring event. Iowa squeaks out of here with a 3-point win. So,
all right.
Yep.
Hey, let's move on out west.
Yeah.
Now, this is a high-profile game. I can't wait for this one. This is going to be a 6:30 kickoff on ABC. Number 5 in the land, the Washington Huskies. They're sitting at 10-0.
Yeah.
But they're heading to Corvallis, the Riser Stadium, to take on the Oregon State Beavers. And by the way, the Beavers are 8-2.
Right.
And they're still ranked as a top 10 team in the nation. And they're favored here by 2.5.
Yeah, Andy, I don't like that they're favored, Andy, but I get why they are.
I like them favored.
Yeah. the one thing I have to get out of the way right away, we were just talking about some dismal teams that can't score the points. Give me the over. 63.5 points.
Geez.
63.5 points. Easy money. I'm going big on the over here, Andy.
Oh.
It's really hard to split, here as Washington is still in the mix for the playoffs. But I just love both of these offenses. I think it's going to be a shootout back and forth. Washington's defense very, very penetrable for the Oregon State Beavers.
Right.
I believe this is going over. Penix Jr. is he's going to still jack his stats up. I believe that this is going to be a high scoring affair. Maybe both teams over 40 here, Andy.
Yeah. Penix leads the nation in Penix Jr. leads the nation in passing yards at 3,533 yards right now. Also has a leading receiver, Rome Duns. He's done put up over 1,000 yards on the season. But I'll tell you what, both of these teams have great running backs and a great rushing attack. And I feel that that's where they're going to want to, in a game like this, a top 10 matchup, at Oregon State at night. I think Washington's Penix Jr. is going to get his.
He has to.
He's a Heisman hopeful. He's one of the front runners. I know right now the latest line, he was slightly behind Bo Nix. Guess what? He already beat Bo Nix.
He already did that, so he has the trump card on him.
Yes. So
just win.
Yep.
Just win.
And that's where the focus is going to be for Washington, not going crazy and scoring touchdowns. I see a path for this under. Obviously they could get that over pretty easily too.
Yeah.
But I thought you might be looking at the under with me because I almost feel like that's one of the best bets here, knowing how good their rushing attack is and what type of game this is.
Just the only reason I'm going this way, Andy, this Washington pass attack can shred this Oregon State through the air.
Sure.
Oregon State has been susceptible to that through the air. They're pretty good against the run as far as the Pac-12 goes, and not so much against the air. On the flip side, Oregon State's offense is consistently good across the board, and Washington's defense has been inconsistent as well.
Yep.
That's why I just believe that it's so high, but I believe both teams are going to be at least 35 points each, maybe pushing 40.
DJ Ugalulua.
Ugalulua.
He has found a home at Oregon State. Good to see that guy bounce back after a rough go of it in Clemson. He wasn't that bad in Clemson either. Just,
for sure not.
Expectations were through the roof. So he's getting things done, though, in Oregon State. And here's the stat I was looking for.
Yeah.
The total has gone under 5 of the last 6 times these two teams have squared up. It's just kind of the track record between these two.
It is, Andy. But I believe if Washington needs to be in contention for the national championship, they need this game and Penix Jr. to win this Heisman. I believe there's still a really good push for him to win this Heisman, and they have to win this Saturday. They have to win this Saturday, and it has to be convincing for them, for the committee to take them seriously in the college football playoff. So I like both of those things, and I think both of it happens for the Huskies.
The book agreed with you because this line opened up with the Huskies being a 2.5-point favorite. Now they're a 2.5-point dog on the road. And you can, it all makes sense.
People like the Beavers at home, and that is a good bet, obviously. I just think that Washington has too much going for them. I just do believe across the board they're the best team in the Pac-12 with the best player. Best player wins. Give me Penix Jr. in the over.
All right, well, we talked about a high-profile game. Let's go even higher. A game that you're going to be at,
yes!
Right? Oh, the Big Red. And I'm talking about the Huskers. Are traveling out to Madison, Wisconsin, Camp Randall Stadium, kind of a different stadium, but a fun stadium. Both teams sitting at 5-5. Right now, Wisconsin's sitting at a 4.5-point favorite. Not much moving on the line here.
Yeah.
So you haven't seen a lot of money pouring, but I'm seeing a lot of 4.5s. So just a little bit of Nebraska money has come in to bring that down to a 4.5.
Yeah, Andy. This is just a rough one for both teams looking at this game. Wisconsin coming off a horrid loss against Northwestern, kind of getting their butt spanked by Northwestern, maybe the worst team in the Big Ten. Couldn't keep their defense off the field. It was just
Wisconsin doesn't cover either. They've only covered 2 of the last 6 games.
Exactly. The defense allowed Northwestern to go 11 of 17 on third downs. That makes 3 straight lodges for the Badgers, scoring 14 or fewer in each game. We're flipping that, Andy. As for Nebraska, they coughed up the ball 5 turnovers in Maryland. This was the game.
There.
This was the game to get to bowl eligibility.
Yeah.
This was our best chance. Like we said, it was just heartbreaking to see all 3 of those quarterbacks come in and all 3 make mistakes. None bigger than Purdy at the end of the game in the red zone. But the way you got to look at this, Andy, is it's kind of a fresh start for the Nebraska Cornhuskers going out here, probably starting Chuba Purdy in this game. I don't think they're going to give Sims the nod. It just seems like every time he touches the ball, something bad happens. So I
only
do believe
25% of the time.
Yeah, it works 25% of the time. Yeah, no, I do think this is a kind of a good look for the Huskers right here, getting 4.5 points on the road.
It doesn't even sound right.
Just because Wisconsin can't put up points either. Wisconsin, like you said, has failed to cover the spread in each of its last 6 games against non-AP ranked teams at Camp Randall Stadium.
Yeah, there's a lot of reasons to look away from Wisconsin, but I'm telling you right now, the number 2 interception leader in the nation, Ricardo Holman, is a defensive back for the Badgers. You got to be thinking he's licking his chops right now. By the way, a little Omaha shout out here, Nebraska boy, Xavier Watts is the nation's leader up there at Notre Dame with 7 picks. Always like to get those local guys
no doubt
their shout outs.
Awesome.
But I just think that Wisconsin defense has got to be just licking their chops, seeing I don't care who's the quarterback at this point. It is what it is. Is Nebraska going to have 3 turnovers or more, 4 or less? I mean, but they're going to turn the ball over.
Yeah, no matter what, but it's going to be a run-happy offense for Nebraska. If we can establish that run, I think we have a good chance to at least cover in this game, Andy. Looking at that over-under at 37, Andy, I think I'm licking my chops at this. Okay. Each of Wisconsin's last 5 games at Camp Randall Stadium have gone under in the points. These 2 teams very much struggle at scoring points. 37 is way too high for this game. As it gets closer to Saturday, I bet this gets to around 32. Just
it's going to move that much?
In line with that Iowa game. So,
man.
Andy, I am going with a single game parlay here, Andy.
Let's hear
for
it.
the Cornhuskers. I'm still drinking the Kool-Aid. I got Nebraska money line. I got Nebraska over 15.5 points, and I got Nebraska over 1.5 touchdowns. You put that all together on DraftKings Sportsbook plus 224. Give me that all day. Go Big Red. I'm going to be in the stands. It's going to be awesome.
Go Big Red. Hey, those are some numbers there I can get behind. They're not too out of line, and you just got to limit the turn. I'm not saying don't turn the ball over. I'm over that. Just limit the turnovers, and you can see a clear path there. And, hey, bowl eligibility is on the line here for the Huskers, and you know they won it. And, yeah, maybe it is a nice little brush of fresh air to get out and get away from home, regroup, all those things. You heard the horn. That means we're up against it, but let's take a quick minute to recognize one of our fabulous partners. That is the Nebraska Brewing Company. World class in every glass. Don't go anywhere. This is WTL.